Welcome to the Adventure Athletes podcast. This episode was about me, how I got into running, and how I advocate for mental health, helping other people. What I want to come out of this is more people to open up, see these challenges we face in day to day as opportunities to take on, and how we can express our challenges in endurance-based stuff and taking on running. But more importantly, just getting people to talk more and learn that it's okay to have bad times and get through them. Hopefully through my challenges and things I've done, I can show people that we will get through them, and one step at a time is the way forward. These guys have really cool events coming up this year. You should go and definitely check out their website. If you're into adventure, if you're into endurance stuff, then definitely tune in and head over to their website.
What was your call to adventure?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think it probably was me being in a bad place, and that came from me being when I was in New Zealand. This was after 14 months, I think, at this point of being away, and it probably within the 11 months I started feeling down. I was drinking a lot, and it was just continuous, every day, waking up. It got to a point where I was getting in at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then it was a couple hours sleep, and then I'd walk around for a bit, and then before you know it, no matter what place I went to, it just seemed to be the same recurring thing: staying in hostels, going out a lot, drinking. I think it just started to really, really take a toll on me. And by the time I was in Thailand at the time, I remember feeling down. Made my way off to Sri Lanka, didn't feel great, and then when I got to New Zealand, I started feeling really low, and I was really gutted about it, because if I'm doing all these amazing things, why do I feel like this? And it made me feel really ungrateful. I thought there's no way out of how I'm feeling, but I just carried on drinking, and little did I know I was just getting worse. And I thought, there'd be times where I was drinking but I was having a good time, but the next day, and it's not just that come down effect, it was literally the worst feeling ever. I felt terrible, and one day I literally decided I was enough's enough. And at this point, I hadn't ran since I was home, so we're talking over a year. And I'm talking I think I ran 1 5K in the Philippines on month 4, and it killed me because how much alcohol I was drinking. But I didn't run at all. And one day I was in New Zealand, I was in Wellington, and I went into a trainer shop, and I said to the guy, I want to buy a pair of running trainers, I want to get into running. He's like, what type of running do you want to do? I was like, the guy was Welsh, actually, which was really cool. And he was like, what type of running do you want to do? I was like, 5Ks, 10Ks max. I was like, nothing more than that. And he was like, cool. And he's giving me this pair of New Balance. And he was like, they were £80, equivalent. He said, take these. I put them on, and I went out for a run in the afternoon. It was 12-ish. It was summertime in New Zealand. So the sun stayed out till late, and I went out, and I was feeling awful, and I just kept running, and kind of like Forrest Gump in a weird way. I just kept running across through Wellington, and I just didn't stop. And it was a really windy place as well, flat, super flat, really windy, and I was running against the wind, and I felt really free. At the time I had an Apple Watch, and to track my runs, and if any Apple Watches, they're awful to track any run, especially I don't think they would last for a marathon, never mind an ultra. I kept running. I got about 9 miles in, and New Zealand's really good for having toilets and water fountains everywhere, and that's the beauty of being able to run over there, because as you know, doing ultras and stuff, needing to go to a toilet occurs a lot. But when you have these public toilets, it's easy. I stopped in one of them, and called my dad. I said, I'm on a run. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, how far are you in? I said, I'm 9 miles in. He's like, 9 miles in? He's like, that's a lot. And I was like, yeah. I said, I feel good though. I was like, I feel fine. And he was like, he said to me, mate, that's amazing. And you got to run 9 miles back. I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to run back yet. And I carried on running. I got to half a marathon. I was like, I'm going to turn around, because I thought at this point I already made my mind up. I was like, I'm going to run a marathon. And I got halfway, and then I ran back, and it was interesting because when I was on my way back, I seen the guy I sold who sold me the trainers. He was running, and he ran past me, And now I was like, at this point, I was done. I was done in bad. It was extremely hot. I was just sipping water occasionally from the fountains. No energy gels, no nutrition. Drank the night before. It was completely just unprepared. The trainers I had on, again, they weren't made for long distances. So I just got very close. I was about 40k in when I bumped into this guy. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You look battered," and I was like, "I'm nearly done a marathon." I was like, "I've got 2k left," and he couldn't believe it. Welsh guy. He ran the last 2k with me. He was telling people, "This guy's running a marathon." Like, people didn't care, but I was running. He's running alongside. He was the runner, so he was like, just like, what? Like, he couldn't believe it. He was like, "You running a marathon?" He's like, "Mate," he's like, "That's crazy." And I finished it and go back to the hostel, and like for the whole day, then the rest of the evening, I was just completely cooked. It took me 4.5 hours. I was just like, that's mental. And I spoke to my old man after again. I was like, he's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "I ran a marathon yesterday." It's time zone and stuff. He's like, "Mate," he's like, "that's mental." He's like, "Maybe this is a bit of a calling for you." He's like, "That's not normal, And he was like, "Why don't you get into ultra running?" My dad's like, start taking on some ultras and stuff. And I was like, there's no way like I would ever even think again. I was like, nah, it's not something I want to do. I remember going back to the hostel and seeing like all my mates who were all like ready to go out, and they're like, "Where have you been?" I was like, I just run a marathon. And they were like, no one could believe it. And I think seeing everyone's reaction was like I didn't take it as a win, but I took it as like they actually did something cool today, and I changed my feeling, and I still felt rubbish, but for that moment I felt joy for the first time in ages, and I think it came from pushing myself. And yeah, it was from that moment in March last year. I didn't really stop then, I suppose. Like, I had a bit of a break when I travelled finished travelling the rest of New Zealand, South Island, and again, not really running much. I did a couple hill sprints here and there in Queenstown, and I thought, okay, well, I know now if I'm going to feel down, I'm going to do a run. And feeling down came again, so then I ran again. I went up north then to work, and that's where I started to feel really low. And I think it was because I was completely away from everyone at this point. Hostel friends just didn't exist. I was living on a farm in the middle of nowhere with animals. Like, it was completely like something I really like. For people, it seems like the dream. It was amazing. People were like, "Wow, this is how cool!" Like, you're living on a farm, and like it was beautiful. I lived in a really nice house with this Kiwi family. It was really nice, and I just couldn't feel worse. I was like, I feel so low. And I just decided to keep running the same trainers that were not made for marathons, and I keep pushing the boat out. And I tried a 50k, 60k. I just kept pushing them out. I was like, I'm going to do 70k. And all my mates at home were like, "What are you doing?" Like, I have a running group chat at home. Some of my mates, and they were like, "What is going on? Like, where's all this coming from?" And my feet would be battered. Like, I was not in shape to run any of these ultras at all. But I was just like, I'm going to run an ultra today. And it was like 60k. And I was like, I just kept pushing the boat out. And it was like back-to-back 50s. My feet were like, you can imagine, like, they were so soft from traveling, like wearing open toe like sandals for months and months, and then so just putting on these trainers and just battering them. They weren't even made for my foot. Went through the New Balance, like right the way through, and I kept running with them because I had no money. So I was literally running with my toes through these trainers, and I just kept pushing the boat out. It was like the next challenge. And then I ordered a pair of shoes, a pair of ultra runners, and I ordered a pair of Hokas. And I started running in them, and they became super ideal for me because they were actually designed for running long distances. And yeah, I think it helped me out massively in a time where I was feeling really low. And I think that's where I sort of realised that, like, running is so similar to mental health in a way that, like, I remember speaking to like my parents at home, and they were like, "Just take it a day at a time. Like, you can always come home." It was never an option for me. I was just like, I really want to stay out here. Like, I want to. If I go home, I'm gonna feel the exact same way. So I need to sort my head out before I do anything. So it was like, okay, just one day at a time. Just keep going. I was just working away, living by myself. And that's what I kept doing, and it was similar to the running then, because it was like one foot in front of the other, exactly the same. I thought if I can get through my days, then I can get through these runs. But I just kept, like, it was just continuous. Like some days I would do like a 15k, but I didn't stop running, and the mileage just went up and up, and yeah, strange really. And I was running without any coaching, so you can imagine, like, not really tracking heart rate. Again, Apple Watch, like, it kept dying on me, and I ordered my first Garmin, like the Forerunner, the cheapest one I could get on. Ordered it from the UK because it was the cheapest one I could find, to New Zealand. It took 2 weeks. I couldn't wait for it to come. I was buzzing. I just kept like pushing the boat out. But that was a point where I still didn't like the running, but I think being in New Zealand and how beautiful it was a great way to see the place. And I just enjoyed being out there, and it'd be like, it gave me a time, it gave me a chance to get away from how I was feeling in a way. Even though I'd have the same thoughts on my runs, they were never as bad as they were just being inside this farmhouse. Like, it was completely different. And like, in a way, like, I would be running, and I remember one day I hit 6k, and my feet, and I mean, they were really bad, and I can show you a picture after. You'll be astonished. They were awful. I had an infection. Every toe was swollen, blisters like you wouldn't believe. And I'd set these goals in my mind of like what I wanted to achieve in the next year, because this running thing just really became like an asset for me. And I just kept saying to myself, well, if I'm going to give up at 6k, then I'm not going to achieve the goals I've set out for myself this year. So I need to keep going, and I'd keep going until I'd done 70 or 80. And I think 70 was the max distance I did when I was in New Zealand. But yeah, I think that was it really. I mean, like, I just kept running and running every day, and like, when I was in a dark place, it just became something that helped me massively. And yeah, I'm grateful for it, you know, because I was bad, and like, I wasn't sure like what decision to take next in terms of like what's going to help me in this current situation. I had no clue. I was like, because I'm trying so much different things here. I'm moving places. I don't want to go home. I don't know if it's like I want to start like a new career. Like, I don't know what it is. I've been away for so long, and I just felt really like ungrateful, because I was in these beautiful places, but I was feeling so low. And I think, again, that's the thing about traveling, is so many people will tell you like, oh, you live in the dream, and you know, like, all these places you're going to, because they just see the social media side of it. But actually, I was just like, I'm struggling for like 3 months here, like, and I'm really not enjoying myself no matter where I'm going. So that's where running massively helped me, to be fair.
What do you think it is about running specifically that helps people with their mental health and like getting you through that dark place yourself? Like,
when it comes to that, I don't know, because I wouldn't say it was like rocket science in a way. I mean, like, exercise is, everyone knows, is good for your mental health. Like, I think, like, I don't think anyone can really say that exercise doesn't help them feel better. Do you know what I mean? I don't ever feel great during my runs, or even when I just come back. And that's always a thing. People say like, I feel great. I'm like, I feel terrible. I need a shower. Like, what do you mean you feel great? Like, I'm soaking wet. I feel awful. But then, like, it's like delayed gratification, isn't it? Like, because you feel better, but it might be the day after, or like just, you know, a few hours later. But it takes time. I never feel great when I'm doing it, ever. But I feel like if I don't do exercise, and I've always been into the gym and stuff, I've never done anything extreme until recent, but I was always into the gym. I went to boxing when I was like 18, 19, and I think in terms of discipline, like, I would like run quite a lot, but it was never like, I would do like max like 3k, but like I would do 3k like every other day, but it was like nothing like I've ever done now. And I'll just go out and do like all out every other day, like, so I didn't know what I was doing. I just run as fast as I could, and just do 3k. Max I probably did was 8k, 10k max. If I did 10k, I would have remembered it. I think like it would have been like a big deal for me, you know, at 18, 19. But yeah, I didn't really do. But I knew then that even then, when I was younger, and I struggled with mental health when I was 18, 19, that's when I started struggling. And again, to the narrative of going travelling, I always thought, That's all I need to do. I need to go away. It's all I've ever wanted to do, like my dad did and my sister did it. It's kind of embedded in me, and I was like, that's all I need to do, and I'll fix everything. I'll feel great. And I think I did for so long, but then it came back, and I started feeling really low again, mixed with the alcohol and the drinking. But I've always been someone who like would do like something, like you said, like you've always been into fitness. Like I would go to the gym, and I'd feel rubbish if I didn't. And even if I didn't know what I was doing, like, which I didn't, and even if it was just like skipping in the morning, like, which I learned through boxing, and I love skipping, it was just something to do. And if I hadn't done it in my day, it does become a routine, doesn't it? Because you think, right, I know this is going to make me feel better, so I need to fit it in my day somehow. And I've always been like that, but again, like I said, nothing extreme. But I think, yeah, it's that sense of it makes you. I think it definitely improves people's mental health, and you know, it's like too much of anything's gonna throw you off. So like too much bad food, too much going out, you know, like too much training. I think like anything you do is gonna throw you off, and there's a little bit of balance. And I think I don't think it's rocket science in that sense. I think like, it's always been the same for people. You know, like if they do something that's gonna make them feel better, it's gonna improve their mental health. You know.
Yeah. What do you think it is about you in particular where you could go from nothing, being in a bad place, and then just being like, I'm gonna run, and you just end up doing a marathon? Like people train years for a marathon.
Yeah.
And like you're just like, I'm just gonna go do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I've always been quite like, and I know a lot of us are, but purpose driven. So when I can like set a goal, even if they're small goals and like they're not necessarily big, like you can make something small for like on a Monday and say, well, I want to achieve this week. I've always been, it keeps me going, I think, having like those little like purpose things. And with traveling, they can run out a little bit. You run out of ideas. Like when you go to these places, it's all well and good and you're seeing all these amazing things and there's purpose in that, of course there is. But like when you don't have that like that little goal, okay, like I want to do this, you know, we're all building to like maybe save to go on holidays, or we're saving for this, we're saving for that, we're training for the next thing that's coming up. It's like those little things that keep people going when you're traveling, and it's all like, it was non-stop for me. Like I saved up enough money so I could go and feel free and not have to worry about money, not work until I got like a year in. It was a year with no work and just constantly on the move. And I think along the way I did cool stuff, like adventurous things, and I think it's part of like my personality and who I am. I did like Everest Base Camp in Nepal, and it was like that kept me going, because then you were like, okay, when I left I was like, I know I want to do that, so let's book that. I booked it, and it was like, achieved it. I actually started feeling down in November on my travels quite early on, and it was after Everest Base Camp, and I noticed a pattern then, looking back, not at the time. I was like, I seemed to have dipped after every time I'd achieved something that I wanted to achieve, and once I achieved it I started feeling really low again, because I hadn't planned the next thing. So if I hadn't planned the next thing, it was like, oh, I'm like ticking. I'm like, there was always something though. And I think I've realised that I'm someone who needs to plan these goals and have that like purpose. So when I was doing, like you said, doing the marathon, it wasn't like something I planned. It was on the day. It was like, I'm gonna run a marathon today. And then after finishing the marathon, I was like, when I spoke to my old man and he's mentioned ultra, I was like, and then give it a week or so, I felt great again, because it took a while. I was like, yeah, I'm going to run an ultra. So then it was like having that purpose. And when I was away, I came up with, in New Zealand, I was on the farm, I was just writing non-stop, first time I'd ever written, to be honest. I was just writing what I want to do, what I want to achieve. And I had some crazy goals. That was when I contacted my current coach, and I said, I got an idea. And he was like, cool, give me a call. And I gave him a call and I listed the ideas, and he was like, right, okay, let's get to work, pretty much. And he's been backing me all the way. But yeah, I think for me it's been that, like I said, that having that purpose. Yeah. Without it, I seem to just sway a little bit. So like having those little goals definitely has always helped, like I said, with everything though, not just fitness, because like I said, I only took on the real training and real running last year, but before that it was like traveling was just always on my mind. So when it sort of felt like it was coming to not an end, because I'm never going to stop moving about and going to places, but I feel like when it was coming, this section of my trip, I feel like was coming to an end, maybe it didn't help, because I was like, what next? I've got nothing to like push for or drive me to.
Yeah.
I felt like a little bit lost, I think.
Do you think you're ever going to get over that sort of need for another thing? Like you're saying, like you finish one thing and you're like, right, now I need this next thing. I need this next thing. Like, when is that going to be enough? Like, you know what? I'm happy.
Content.
I've done it.
Yeah, I do ask myself that quite a lot, because you can always get better and bigger, can't you? And I think that's the issue. But like, I don't think that's a bad thing either. Like I said, I thought I was going to be super content and happy when I finished traveling, and it wasn't the case. Like, I just felt like, no, like I ever want to do more. And that's the same with everyone who travels. Like, I spoke to so many people on my travels, and they all say the same thing. It's like, it is a bug, and once you've got it, you're caught up in it, and it's just like constantly planning the next trip or the next adventure, like, so to speak. It's constant, like, and I think this is what keeps me going, in truth, because I am adventurous, I'm outgoing, and I like planning these things, and I've always had that in me. It's just like going away sort of sparked it even more, I think, and it was like, okay, bigger challenges and bigger goals, and it was like, I can achieve them, like, and it was just about like proving it to myself, and everything I wanted to do when I was younger, I'm doing, I have done, especially in the last 2 years. So then that made me realise, it's like, I kept thinking to myself, well, like, someone came up with an idea in the first place and thought it was crazy, but they still went and done it. It's like, I'm thinking of ideas now and they seem crazy, but I'm doing them as well at the same time. So it's like, these are achievable, and I think it becomes exciting. So you just plan more, don't you? You're just like, okay, what's next, and what else can I do? Because you're here once, so you may as well do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Something that challenges you, because what's the point if not? And I think like Paul, my coach, has been a massive help. I actually met up with him in January when I mentioned I was in Thailand before I went to New Zealand. I didn't mention at the time I was feeling low, but I was by myself. He was with his fiance and his father and mother-in-law. They were all out in Thailand, and I met up with them again, just a couple of nights out we got speaking, and I mentioned I just read a book, and I've always been fascinated in mountaineering and stuff, and I've always been interested. I've been like fascinated with Mount Everest since I was a kid. Like, just interests me so much. I love it. And when I did Everest Base Camp, it was like that was like a dream come true. But even then, I was like, I want to climb Mount Everest. I was like, I need to save because it's expensive. I was like, that's what I want to do. And I met up with Paul, and I told him a book I read on a guy called George Mallory.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was asked why he wanted to climb Everest, or why he's climbing Everest, and he said because he's there. And it just stuck with me, and I got it tattooed on my leg, and he has as well, and we got it tattooed in Thailand, and it just stuck with me. That quote, I was like, because he's there. And it's such a relatable answer to things, because so many people ask, like, why do you do it? And I don't really have the answer, but why not? Like, why not? It's like, why do you go to India on your own? It's like, well, it's there, innit? Like, I want to have a look. Like, I want to be able to tell cool stories when I'm older, you know, and I want to be able to actually know what places are like, and how it felt running this and doing that. And I think I've never really been happy with feeling like mediocre, I suppose, and there's nothing wrong with that, or doing ordinary things, or living an ordinary life, but I've just never wanted that. I've always wanted something different, and I think if things are there to be tackled or to be seen, then go tackle them, go see them.
Yeah.
You know?
My thing is very much around, like, I'm an ambassador for a mental health charity called Sport in Mind. So it's all about using sport to help you with your mental health. So like all of this is like, it's becoming more and more prevalent, I think. But I always worry that, like, I've got a very similar story to you of getting into it to get me out of these dark places. And I've always hit that low afterwards, like you're saying, like as soon as I've achieved something. And I've always told people, like, the biggest low is as soon as I finished. Because people are always like, oh, how can I help you with your challenges and stuff? And my thing was always like, I don't really need help getting through a challenge. I know I can push myself. I can do these things. But I'm going to need people around me to help me out afterwards, because I'm going to get depressed. And they've always been like, oh, well, why'd you do it then if you know it's coming? And things like that. But what I found on my last challenge is I didn't get depressed after it. Not for like the same reasons that I usually would. Like I had a lot of other stuff going on in life. So I don't really see that as depression. I just see that as like bad life circumstances. Like there's a reason for it. Whereas depression is usually like you're saying, if you're traveling, you're living this dream life for most people looking at you being like, wow, what an amazing life. And you're there and you're just like, I'm just not happy. Like for me, that's what depression is you've got everything there and there's just, yeah, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, you're just not feeling good.
Yeah, but I feel like people then set themselves these challenges as a way to try and escape that. But then, like you're saying, as soon as you achieve it, it's just then back to square one almost, and like, oh shit, like I feel shit, and I'm trying to figure out how people can cope with that better and be able to do these things. I don't want people to stop signing up for amazing things and raising money for charity and doing these big challenges that's going to improve their lives, but I'm trying to figure out what we can do to, not just with everyone else but with ourselves, to stop feeling that low afterwards. Like is there anything that you felt or experienced afterwards that you're like, actually this is what's helped me deal with it, sort of thing?
It's a good question. I think I came to a realization that I feel like in a bit of a sad reality, but I felt like we're all just sort of distracting ourselves in a way, whether you're like into fitness or you're really into your work, or you're really into like traveling and going away, like you're really into like the hobby that you're enjoying. Like it could be anything. Like realistically, we're all constantly distracting ourselves, because without distractions, like what do any of us do? You know, just hobbies can be distractions, right? Because you do them to stop you from going insane. It's like, you know, we all complain about work, but without it, like it would drive most people insane, you know, sitting in a house all day doing nothing. So I think we all do these things as distractions, and I suppose keeping going, like I don't think there's any reason to stop, you know. Like if it's feeling down, if you're feeling down after, then there's no reason why you can't plan the next thing. It doesn't mean you should jump straight back into training, because that's not good for anyone, but just get excited for the next thing and look back and I think have these moments of like gratitude, I suppose. I think writing helps massively. I've realised recently how much it helps me. Like I did it a lot last year, and then I stopped for ages when I was doing a lot of running. I seemed to just stop doing it, and then recently I've been writing again, and I feel like it's just helped massively. I did therapy for it's been like 8 years now. I haven't had it for a good year, on and off 8 years, not constantly, but a long time. And my therapist told me to wake up and get rid of my internal monologue. So like all the thoughts I'm having and how I'm feeling, write them down. And he compared it to a shopping list, which is really interesting, because he said if you have this shopping list and you go into a supermarket and you're like, right, okay, you're like toilet paper, you're like shampoo, you're like broccoli, you got it all down. You don't really need to think about it. But if you go in with all these thoughts of what do I need to buy, you could be there for ages, and you're like, and you're going over in your head, and you'll probably forget something. Now he compared it by saying if you wake up the first thing in the morning and you write down everything that's on your mind. He said, and I mean everything. He said, like, if you're thinking, why the hell is he telling me to do this? Then write it down. If you're thinking I'm going to be late for work, write it down. Anything, literally, whatever pops in your mind. And he said, just write it down. And I'd write like 2 pages. And he said, scrumple it up, throw it in the bin. Don't look at it. Or just leave it in the book. Just don't look at it again. And he said, like with the shopping list, once you've written it down, you don't think about it. It was very similar to how I put these thoughts down on paper. Like when I put them on paper, I stopped thinking about them. And like, I'm not saying that helps with everyone, and it took a while, and to be honest, sometimes I think it doesn't help, and I think, what am I doing? This is a waste of time. But it has helped, and I think that's something people could do. And I think in regards to the aftermath of doing a big event, and it is a come down, because you can go on such a high and then such a low down. And I notice it in some of my mates as well who do like triathlons and stuff. I notice like all the training and preparation they put into it, and then afterwards it's like it's, you know, they're like, I'm gonna really start to enjoy myself, and you know, afterwards, and like I want to feel good after it. But I see them go straight back into training because they're like, oh no, they're feeling rubbish about it. It's almost like if you can just find little things to just again, it's that distraction, I think. And especially if it's like training related, if you enjoy pushing yourself through training, then find other ways to do it out of training. I think like anything you can do that can like expand your mind, and you know, if it's reading or learning a language or anything, like it's gonna make you feel better, in my opinion anyway. And I think writing's been a massive help for me. So I think that, like, you know, after these events, like, take it in and write about it. Like, what have you learned from it? You know, how did you feel? How do you feel now? How do you feel about the next few months? And prep, like, you know, you might be like, I'm going to feel rubbish, and it's like accepting that as well. Like, that's fine. Like, if you're gonna feel rubbish, like it's normal. Like, so it doesn't, you know, people look at it and go, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like this. It's like, it's okay to feel like this. Change the narrative to it's okay to feel down, not I shouldn't be feeling down, because that can mess with your head as well. It's like, I shouldn't be feeling like this. It's like, no, it's actually, pause, it's fine. You've just done something big and impressive. That was a complete high for you. Now it's a come down, so it's expected. So yeah, I think having a bit of like gratitude and realizing that, you know, this is gonna happen, plan the next thing, and that's what keeps us all going, really. I mean, if you're, again, like, you're not training, and then like most people will say like, what keeps you going this year? Well, I'm in work all week, and it's like, so what is it that drives you? It's like, well, what are you in work for? It's like, oh, well, I'm saving for that holiday. You're like, there, the holiday is keeping you going, and that's what it is for a lot of people. It's like a 2-week holiday a year is what keeps them going, and that's also a nice thing, because we all have to work, but it's like, okay, that little thing that I've got coming up is something I'm really looking forward to, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think planning the next thing.
I really like what you said about it's okay to feel like that. Like,
Yeah.
you don't always have to avoid these feelings. And thinking about it now, like, I definitely get caught up in it, being like, oh, well, why am I feeling rubbish? Like, I don't want to feel like this. And really, no one wants to feel like that. No one wants to feel shit about themselves and be like, oh, I don't like how things are going. I'm feeling really low. But that is part of life. Like,
100%.
That's part of the experience.
Ups and downs, and you have this extreme up, you're gonna come down. Like, it's just gonna happen. It's like when you drink alcohol, it makes you feel happy, confident, you have all these new feelings, but believe the next day or the few days later you're gonna come crashing down, and that's the realization of it. It's the exact same with these events. It's a buzz, so what goes up must come down, and it's having that acceptance and being like, I'm gonna allow myself to feel down. And when you say that, you can make things so much easier for yourself, because a lot of it as well with, like, I probably noticed with athletes, like, not myself by any means, I don't even call myself an athlete, but like my friend's an extreme athlete. He's honestly, that's all he does and focuses on his training, and he's an absolute animal. And I notice it in him a lot. He'll talk about how he's feeling down, and I'm like, just give yourself a break, like, allow yourself to feel, because I think it's about, like, being a perfectionist. There's no such thing as perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nothing's perfect. And when you're constantly chasing that, this needs to be this needs to be that, need this in order, like, that's just that's no one's reality. There's nothing, no such thing. Everyone's got things that are messy, and as soon as is that acceptance of, like, I'm allowed to feel this way, I'm allowed to have these things not in order, I'm allowed to wake up late, you're allowed to make mistakes, like, all these things, we're all human. And I think that's the bad thing about social media, is seeing perfect life online and people making out they've got it all figured out, and I, like, no one does. I think we're all just sort of winging life, you know.
Yeah.
Like, no one has life figured out. We're all just winging it. Like I said, we all have things we look forward to, and we all have things that we don't look forward to. It's about accepting them, I suppose. Like, if you're going to accept the things you look forward to, well, accept the things you don't as well, because they're going to come your way as well.
Yeah.
And if that's feeling down after doing something training related, then okay, like you said, it might be an occurrence for yourself. Then just be like, okay, cool, like, if this is going to happen, then it's going to happen, and I'm going to allow myself to feel down. And it might take 2 weeks, it might take a month, whatever it'll be. But when the next thing clicks and I'm ready to go again, you're going to feel good, and you know that.
Yeah.
So it's just about, like, knowing what makes you feel good, what doesn't. And I know this seems really cliche and like, it's not that easy, but, like, I suppose just having those things, and like I said, writing's massive as well. Honestly, I can't stress it enough. I think it helps people, like, it does. Writing stuff down, write your thoughts down, how you're feeling. Yeah.
I think that acceptance is something that we should all try, like you're saying, it's not as easy as just like, oh, I'm just going to accept being down.
Yeah.
Like, you're always going to feel bad for being down.
Yeah, of course.
But if you've got that narrative that you're telling yourself of like, I'm going to accept this like best I can, not beat myself up too bad about it, because I think a big thing about it is after you've done a challenge or whatever it might be, you've accomplished something and you get that down, you then feel guilty about feeling down. Like you were saying, when you're traveling, you're like, I'm living most people's dreams. I'm out in New Zealand, I'm living on a farmhouse surrounded by animals, got a really nice house, and I'm feeling down, and I feel bad because I'm feeling down. Like, I think that's a big part of it, is we're like, we've achieved something, we've done this amazing thing, I feel bad that I don't feel good about it. And I think that guilt then adds to it, and it becomes like a downward spiral of, well, now I feel guilty that I'm feeling down, but that's making me more down. So now I'm feeling more guilty about it.
Because guilt's the worst feeling, by far, the worst. So if you can feel guilty, you're going to just make yourself feel so much worse. If you're already feeling down, throw a bit of guilt in there, is the recipe for disaster. Because I think guilt's the worst feeling. Like, and I think there were times, like I said, when I was away and I just felt pure guilt. I was like, oh, like this is not okay. Like, I shouldn't be feeling like this. We'll change the narrative to, I'm allowed to feel like this. And I'm expected to have this. Just because I'm away doesn't fix all of life's problems. And I thought, me being super naive, thought that travelling would fix everything for me. And that'll be fine. I just need to get away from Cardiff and I'm going to be great again. But it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. No matter where you go, you can have these down moments. And I think that was a big part of me not wanting to leave New Zealand, because I thought, I can go home and see my family, but I'm still going to feel like this. Nothing's really going to fix this right now but me. And I found running, and that's when I got into it. It was March last year, which is crazy. It's coming up to a year, which is nuts when I think about it. It's been crazy.
Yeah. I like what you said about the sort of, you like writing and you've got this thing that helps you, but then sometimes you don't like it, and sometimes it helps and other times it doesn't, and you'll go through phases with it. And I think that we should all go through like seasons almost of like, this is something that I need right now.
Yeah.
But you get to a point and you're like, well, I don't need this right now. But I think, again, it could be to do with social media, of this like, well, what do I need to do? Oh, you need this perfect morning routine. You need to ice bath. You need to journal. You need to do this. You need to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying any of those things are bad. But I also don't think it's like, well, we need to do this all the time to feel okay. Like, you need to do these things to feel all right in yourself. And if you're not doing it, it goes back to the guilt thing of like, well, I'm not doing these things, and I've missed my ice bath this morning because I woke up 10 minutes too late, and now my whole day's ruined because you're feeling guilty about it. And it's like, well, maybe I didn't need one today. Like, maybe that 10 minutes extra in bed is what I needed. And
yeah, exactly.
It comes back to acceptance of like, I'm accepting that. And sometimes it might be like, oh, I need to journal, I need to write things down. And other times it might be like, well, I don't feel like I need to, but I'm beating myself up because I feel like I should.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll just go through seasons with it. And I think it could be the same with challenges. It's like, right now I need this big thing to focus on. I'm doing this big challenge, and I'm a massive advocate for challenges. Like, that's what the whole business is based on, right? So I'm not telling people not to do challenges, but it's like, do you really need to do it all the time? Do you need to be switched on and always training for something? Or afterwards, can you just take some time off and go focus on something else? Focus on journaling, focus on reading, focus on travelling, and like not worry about, oh, well, I would go travelling, but I've got to train for an Ironman, so I got to stay home and save all that. Like, yeah, I think
it's that, go back to that, and it's too much of anything. Like, you're talking about, like, I've mentioned too much alcohol threw me off, because it did, but like, too much training threw me off, because after my 24-hour run, I crashed. And again, we're talking about crashing. It wasn't like straight away, but like, it was more like a month after. And it was because I felt guilty, again, because I had this plan in place set by my coach Paul to achieve. It started getting me to work on speed after I'd gotten from ultra running to starting to do some speed stuff. And he was like, okay, right, I'm going to set this speed plan. And I had like a month of like not doing a lot. Well, I did the Cardiff half marathon the week after my 24-hour run. Only because I just couldn't help myself, to be honest. I was like, oh, God, I was on that buzz still. And it was the first run I did after my 24-hour run. And it was stupid because I had a foot injury and I ran through the pain because I was like, I can go for anything because my mind's better than my body. It was like stupid. And to be fair, it took a month off after that Cardiff half, and it was like, okay, straight back into the speed stuff now. And I felt guilty because I wasn't hitting the targets that he set me. He couldn't see that because I was still doing the sessions, but I just wasn't hitting the target. Like if he told me to run at a 3:30 pace and I was running at a 3:45, it wouldn't come up on Strava because they were splits. But he would be like, well done for getting the session done, and I'd be like, thanks. But in my head I knew I wasn't, but I only wasn't hitting it because I was going out, I was drinking, I was smoking again. Like it was like all these things that I did when I was traveling, I was like started doing again and picking it back up. And I realized that I wasn't achieving these goals because I wasn't giving it my all. But I wasn't giving it my all because I didn't want to. Like I was like, and I've spoken about like how I don't actually like running, which again seems crazy, but it's the truth. And I think that after I'd done that run, it wasn't that I had a sense of like, oh well, I've done this now, I feel like I'm done, because I knew that wasn't the case, and I still had goals, way more bigger goals I wanted to achieve. But it was just like, I'm done for now. And then it took me ages, it took me weeks and weeks to realise that me feeling like I knew I was done for now, and me continuing to do these hard sessions every day whilst working and just hating life at the time. And that would have been November last year. And it was like, oh well, I'm going to keep it up because I've done this run now and just let the ball rolling. But it was actually like, what I should have really done was go, thanks Paul, but I'm taking this rest of the year off, because that's basically what I did. I was like, I don't want to run. And I've only just started going back to running this Monday just gone, because I knew I was going to Colombia, and like I had these things in my mind, and it was like the next thing. I only booked Colombia in December and I went in January, but I was like, I knew it in my head. I was like, I want to do something else, and I don't know what that is yet, but it's not running because I'm not liking it. I'm not enjoying it right now. So again, it was like that guilty feeling of I'm not hitting these goals he's setting me, but it's because I don't want to. So it was like, actually accept the fact I don't want to and come away from it and focus on something else. Focus on traveling, something I actually wanted to do, because then I didn't like it in the first place, but I started despising it to the point where I was like, I'm retiring. Like, I'll do that run I've done, and I'm no longer doing anything running related again. Like, hated it. And then again, it was just like, pick the bug back up. I mean, I went to Colombia, I did a couple of runs over there, and I was like, I'm loving it again. And it just comes in waves, and it's accepting that as well, because you're not always going to be on that like runner's high or whatever it is that you're doing. It's not always going to be like, I'm feeling amazing. Some days it's going to be awful, and you're going to be like, I don't want to do this today. But that's okay as well. And I mean, like, when it comes to like training for something and saying like, I don't want to do this today, and still doing it, that's good. But when you're not really training for anything and you're just doing it, well, realise that it's actually costing you more than you think, because we do these things for our mental health. But if it's making you feel down, then, because you can have all these things going on and go, oh, but I'm putting the work in, I'm training, and I'm eating clean, and I'm doing all these things right, so why am I feeling good? Is actually, those are the things that are relax a little bit. Like, those are the things that are probably making you feel down. Like, say yes to going out for a few beers with your mates or something, because I'm a big advocate for going out and having a good time as well at the same time. I think it's important, and yeah, I think it's just that balance, isn't it? We talk about balance a lot, but it's like, it's so important. It's like a bit of both. Like, it's not all just like, I'm never going to just push the running thing, like, and be like, yeah, I think that everyone should run, and not because I don't. I think it's just about balance. Like, my mate is very one-sided in the training aspect, and you can still feel down, and I'm like, it's because you don't have the balance. Like, try and find more of a balance, and it's because you're pushing towards this training thing. You don't give yourself a break, and like I said, that too much of one thing is gonna just throw you off. So yeah, I think that's massive, to be fair, just having that little bit of balance and a bit of both, and feel, like I said, the acceptance of not wanting to train. That's fine. It's fine.
When, because you said that it's sometimes you just don't want to train, and like that's okay, and you can just be like, you know what, I need some time off. But then other times it's important that it's like, well, I don't want to train, but you still have to do it. Like, how do you decide between, like, is this just a bad session that I need to get through?
Yeah.
Just because, like, I might not be feeling it now, but I might enjoy it after, or it might be an important session. And when do you know that it's like, okay, like, I just need to take a step back for a while?
Yeah. For me, is having, again, that purpose or the goal. So, like, for example, like, when I set the 24-hour run in mind, and I was like, that's something I want to do. Interestingly enough, I spoke to someone who ran across Australia, and Chris Turnbull, his name is, from Sydney. I was in New Zealand when I spoke to him on email, and he told me to do a 24-hour run, and that's when it came into my mind. And I was like, May, I think, last year, and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to build up to this now. 24-hour run's what I'm going to do, but I didn't really tell anyone. Well, I told no one, just Paul knew about it. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, so I built up to it, and then it became to announcing it. But in that build up, there was so many times where running became a passion I didn't like. And that's so strange to say. It sounds so weird, I know. But it was like, I'm passionate because I know I want to achieve these goals, because that was my purpose, was these goals. But I still hated the training. Some days I was fine, but a lot of the time I was like, especially on these like 8 to 10 hour runs, I was like, this is like hell. Like, what am I doing? But because I had that goal, especially then when I announced it, it was like, that was like, okay, this is a tough session, but I have to get through. And I said, like, I ran 6k, and then I said, well, I got these goals, so if I don't finish this run, then I'm not cut out to do what I've set out to do. So I finished it, and I did the 70k. When I literally thought at 6k I stopped, I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. There's no way. And I think the difference is when I stopped running after my 24-hour run, and I was like, okay, give myself that time off. I think the difference there is that I didn't have the goal. It was just like, we're going to try and make you fast. So it was like, okay, but what's my goal? Is my goal a sub 3 hour marathon? And when is it? Because I'm like, I need to be able to see it in my head. Like, okay, it's going to happen in March. Okay, then that's what I'm training for. Rather than, it was like, and I think Paul, we're learning about each other as time goes on, but he was like, you know, we're just going to make you fast. And it was like, I don't have a goal in mind. And I think, again, like I said about having that goal, the next thing. It didn't have it. So for me, it was easier to come away from it. Whereas like when you got something planned and you're held accountable for it, like announcing something online to your friends and stuff, that's when it's like, okay, now I need to lock in. No matter how I'm feeling, I'm going to go out and run. And that then just, you become more obsessed with that then. When you either book something or you tell people, it becomes more of like a responsibility type of thing. You know, you're like, okay, that's something I'm going to achieve. Whereas like not having the goal, it was easier for me to say, I'm coming away from it. And again, I was accepting that, because I was like, yeah, I don't have a goal. I don't even want to plan one. So I'm going to accept the fact that I want to focus on something else in my life, traveling or relationships and stuff. So that's, I think that's the difference for me personally anyway. But
yeah. When did the 24-hour challenge like start? What was that? Where did it come from? Like, what made you be like, yeah, I want to run for 24 hours?
So the idea come from when I was in New Zealand and I started doing the runs. I had that adventure because I'd always constantly. I'm obsessed with the map, and my Instagram profile picture is the globe, but like I'm obsessed with the world map. Like I'm always looking at it, and I'm always like, right, where can I go and what can I do and I'm always, and that's how I inspired my travels, because I was just moving about quite a lot. But when I was in New Zealand, I was like, right, I looked at the map and I literally thought, what country can I run across? And that is what went through my mind at the time, because it was anything to get out of how I was feeling. And I was goal chasing, purpose chasing. I was like, right, goal. I need to set a goal. I want to run across the country, was the idea I had in mind. So then I had a little look online, and I came across Chris Turnbull, who ran across Australia. He ran from Perth to Sydney, covering, I want to say, roughly 4,000 kilometres, and ridiculous, running 100 kilometres a day for 39 days. A dad in his 30s, like, unbelievable. He got back to me. I was like stoked. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. And he was like, hey, like, taking on such a feat, I suggest doing some serious training. I'm glad you're interested in doing stuff like that. He mentioned go for a 24-hour run. I was like, okay, well that's my goal. I'm going to do a 24-hour run and see where I get with that. So I kept the running up, and me and Paul set a date, and we were like, okay, I want to do it in September. It's after summer. Gives me time to enjoy my summer. I was going away with my family. I climbed Mont Blanc in August whilst I was, okay, so like 3 weeks before my 24-hour run, I climbed Mont Blanc, so that wasn't ideal in the training plan at all. You know, the days I was meant to be chilling out in Chamonix, I ended up running like 20k, and my mountain guide was like, what are you doing? Like, we're about to climb Mont Blanc tomorrow and I'm running 20k on the day off. But that was the mentality I was in. It was like, I'm not gonna, like, I've got this goal and I want to achieve it. And it was September I set the goal, and I think it sprung from, honestly, that conversation I had with Chris on email. I was like, okay, if I want to achieve bigger goals, then let's start with the little giant. And so many people, that 24-hour run was like, it can't get bigger. Like, what could you possibly do? And I've had people literally say, what's bigger than a 24-hour run? And I'm like, but people don't realise that there is a lot bigger than a 24-hour run. And actually, back-to-back consecutive running days is a lot more challenging than a 24-hour run, in my opinion. People might say it's different or otherwise. And again, that's not taking anything away from a 24-hour run. And set the goal in mind. And my hardest bit of training for the 24-hour run came in July. And annoyingly, I was in Spain on a 2-week family holiday, and Paul had set me 5 marathons in 5 days. And I was on holiday. I mean, I was in Spain. I was drinking still. Although I didn't really stop drinking whilst I was running, if I'm completely honest, which isn't ideal at all, especially for people training. But I still drank quite a lot, and when I was away especially, and I smoked. And these are two things that definitely don't go well with running. And my lack of nutrition in Spain was unbelievable. Like, I hardly ate. I struggled to eat in the heat, and especially when I'm away, and I didn't eat much at all. No gels, nothing. Now, I had these 5 marathons to do, and again, same mindset was, if I can't do these, then I can't do 24-hour run. So let's get them done. So I started off on day 1, not my first day of the holiday, but day 1 of my first marathon. Went out early doors, 4 a.m. in the dark. Went out, sun come up pretty early, but no shops open in Spain till like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So by the time I'd finished my run, I was done. It took me 4 hours. I had no water, nothing, and I took a backpack with me, and filled loads of water bottles in it. No running vest. I didn't even think to take my running vest with me. I just took a backpack, my dad's work laptop backpack, North Face one, similar to that, or exact same. And I stuffed it with water bottles, litre bottles of water, and they were just jiggling about on me. And that was the hardest bit of training I'd ever done. It was those 5 marathons in 5 days. It was in the hills. I think I gained something stupid like nearly 3,000 meters elevation, I think, in those 5 days, which is quite a lot. But like in the hills with in the heat, with absolutely no nutrition, no gels, just lack of food, getting up at 4 a.m. on my own. I struggled, but mentally, like on day 3, I think it was, I really broke down on the run, and I got 8 to 10 kilometers in, and no one was awake because it was 5 a.m. and I put something in my family chat whoever wakes up first, pick me up because I'm done. And I was throwing a towel in. I was like, I'm done. I was dropping because I was like, I'm on holiday, I want to enjoy myself, what am I doing? But I knew that I had this goal in mind and it was coming up, so I decided to keep going, and that was the best decision. That was like a make or break decision, and I remember so well. I remember exactly where I was standing, threw my bag off, kicked my bag on the floor, annoyed at myself for even attempting to do what I was doing, and I done it, finished it, day 3, day 4, day 5, and I could have kept going, and I did 5 in 5 days, and that was my best bit of training, and harder than my 24-hour run by far. by far.
How did the 24-hour run go?
Really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
So
well.
all the training paid off for it then?
Yeah, actually, the YouTube video of it's just gone live. Went up this week.
I did see.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna watch it till after the podcast.
Yeah, nice.
But
Cool.
yeah.
And really well. I mentioned in it that I predetermined that the first half of the run would be a breeze. So I was like, I've been in those positions before. At this point, I'd never ran more than 100k. And I did the 5 mile for 5 days. But before I went to Spain, I did a 100k run. My dad dropped me off at Brecon 4 in the morning, and I ran to Cardiff, ran to Llanremni. I was over the moon. I was like, 100k run. I was like buzzing. I wanted to get in them triple digits because I was aiming for 100 miles on my 24-hour run. I wanted 100 miles. That's what I wanted. So I obviously predetermined, okay, I've been in those positions before of like the max time. It took me moving time on my 100k run. I want to say 11 hours something, maybe 11 hours 12 minutes. I think I remember seeing that. But I think I was out for about 12 and a half hours. So with an hour of stopping, toilet 3 or 4 times, fuel just to eat like bagels that I'd stashed in my, again, I wore a bag again. Yeah, I think because I said to myself, I'd been in that position, I'd done those 11 hours before, they will be okay. It's the unknown, it's the anything after that. I've never been there, and you don't train for a 24-hour run by running 24 hours. Like, it's not how you do it. So I was like, yeah. And 8 hours into the run, I was 80 kilometers in, literally 80k in, and I got 16 hours to go, and I really tried to break it down. I was like, 16 hours is, I was like, I've never ran 16 hours, and I'm done in here. Like, I was struggling. Everything was hurting, my back, my legs, my shoulders, my neck. I was like, this is not. And I said to the boys, there was only 3 of us at the time, and we were running in the night. Started at 6 p.m. So it was around 2 in the morning, and if I'm right, yeah, about 2 in the morning. I think maybe even later than that, but 3, 4. It was early in the morning, and I said, like, I'm not sure like what I've set up myself to do here. I thought, this is embarrassing. I thought, like, if I not again, and I said this in the video, like, not finishing didn't cross my mind. I was like, I will get it done. I'll get this 24-hour run done. But how on earth am I going to do 100 miles? Is what I felt at that point. And that was because I took a break every 2 hours. I took a 5-minute break where I just eat. Rice balls, getting the salts and getting the carbs in. Bagels and stuff, mixing it up. And yeah, I remember saying to my mate Liam and Tom, who were the 2 next to me when I was on that point, I was like, we were running, but I was like, boys, I started going into the 7:30 kilometer splits, and I was like, I feel myself drifting. I was like, this is not good. You'll be fine. They were being really positive, but I think they were even thinking, like, 16 hours left. He's gone. He's complaining on hour 8. I was like, I don't feel good, and I've been in this position so many, like, a few times. I've done a few 80Ks at this point. I was like, I've never felt like this though, and I was gutted because I was like, why? When the time I do a 24-hour run, do I feel like I'm struggling on hour 8? And there was a mad shift. The sun came out around 6:30, I think. So it was 2 hours of pain, but I got through. And then 6:30, I had a caffeine gel, my first bit of caffeine in 2 days. And mate, I was like, I was flying. I just didn't stop. I wouldn't shut up. I took my headphones out. I was talking to people, like, cracking jokes. They were like, what's this guy on? Like, he won't shut up. And there was just a mad shift. And yeah, and then honestly, it was a breeze after that. A breeze. It was fun.
How far did you end up going?
206 kilometers. So,
fair play.
Yeah, I doubled my 100k. Which I shocked myself a little bit. But I think I knew I had it in me. Like, before I did it, I kind of, like, not in a comparison way, but I looked at other people's 24-hour runs. I was like, just getting a gauge, and I looked at some top athletes' runs, and the best one I could find from someone I really admire is Hercules. He did 192 kilometre in a 24 hour and came in first place. Difference is he had more elevation, not a lot more elevation though, if I remember, but he did his in peak summer. Someone I look up to quite a lot, and when I seen that, I was like, that would be the dream. To hit 190 kilometers, like it's close to 200. I was like, that's what I'm pushing for. And Paul was like, okay, let's knock it down a little bit. Let's say 100 miles is. He said that's the target, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to get. So it was like 100 miles is the target. But when I hit 100 miles and I felt amazing, I was like, there's no reason why I can't push for 200, and I did. And I think I upped the speed, and he kept coming back and forth because I ran in circles, and to make it more accessible as well. But the main reason was for the fact it was a 1 kilometre park, 1.2k loop. It was the mental health side of it. I thought, like, how can I make it more challenging by talking about mental health? And it was a mental challenge, and mentally I found it difficult when I did runs to run in circles or to repetitive running. And like, I'd run on that park and done like a 5k and gone, that was hell. Like, I was running in circles for 5 laps, and I was like, that was awful. So I was like, I was going to run around it for 24 hours, and that where it came from was because I was doing it for mental health, was how I can tie it in with that. And that's why I chose the 1 kilometre park. Yeah,
I was going to say, like, I'm pretty sure when I saw the initial video on Instagram, I was like, wasn't it loops? Like, 1.2k loop.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Nothing to see,
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about loops, to be fair. Like, there's a part of me that likes it and likes the monotony of just switch off.
Yeah.
Just switch off and go. But then there's the other part that's wants the adventure, and it's like, well, I'd rather see a mountain or
100%,
see a nice view. Like, I don't want to just run around a park in Cardiff. Like.
Yeah, no way. Lamrimney as well. If you've ever been there, you wouldn't want to.
Was there like a method to that park? Was that just like the closest park to you, sort of thing?
I think my whole idea of making it in Lamrimney was because this is where I'm from, and I grew up opposite the field. My house is quite literally a 2-minute walk away from that field. Like, it's where I grew up. I played football there. My football team, my mates, we all grew up. Like, me and my mates, we all grew up there, And I think it was just like, in my head, I'd been around quite a bit the last 2 years and done these cool things. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do this at home, as close as I can to home, and whilst keeping it, because running in circles is what first came to my mind. It was like, okay, how can I make this more of a mental challenge? And I thought, surely like running around the 400-metre track is going to be one of the hardest ways to do that. And then I thought, okay, cool, I've got a park by me which is free, and I can run around, and there's no issues with that. And I thought, it'll be awful, but that's the point. Is proving that I could have got and get through it, and one step at a time, and it did. And it was a breeze, to be honest, and that's just because of the training I put in though.
Yeah, I've been questioning a lot recently. I got some friends that have done these amazing things. A couple of my friends have done 100 miles back and forth on a promenade. So one of them did it on Barry Promenade, I think he did a mile out, a mile back, something along those lines. And another friend, I went out, I did 40 miles with him. He did the same thing down the Mumbles, just like out and back until he's done a 100-miler. And I did, 40 miles with him, doing that. And then last year I went and did a 50k round a track, just on my own, no headphones, no watch, nothing, just loops of the track. Do you think it's easier, or which one do you think's easier, doing like a longer loop or out and back, or a shorter loop? Like, would you have rather have done 24 hours round 400-metre track, or 24 hours doing like a mile out and then a mile back, sort of thing?
I think they're both awful. I think it's all awful. Why would anyone do that? I think, I don't think any of it's necessarily easier as such. I mean, like, I've ran around the track a lot, and it's boring doing a 5k. I don't know. I mean, like, the beauty of doing it round somewhere like a 1.2 kilometre park, like in Llanrymni, is the locality of it and the accessibility of that. People being able to come and see you and like talk to you if they want, or not that I did much talking on my run apart from when I had that caffeine gel. But it's like, I suppose, I think they're all hard. I don't know. I feel like the track is being able to see around the whole track, because you can see your next point. Maybe that's worse, maybe. But who knows? And the only way you find out is by doing it, and that's why I keep saying to people, like, you're only going to know unless you go out and try. And with the 24-hour run, I found out, because I'd never done anything like that before. The max I've been on the road for was 11 hours, and I was like, okay, it was like a week before when I do the 24-hour run, that's when I realised, I was like, I'm about to double and more what I've previously done. Like, am I ready? I did start to question myself, like, am I ready for that? I was like, you're never truly ready, I suppose. You can't necessarily train for it. You just got to go out and do it, and that's what I wanted to do. The whole point of the mental health thing was to prove that the mind's more powerful than the body, and the circles was the point proven, I suppose, because it was like it was mentally exhausting. It was like, I'm seeing the same things over and over, like, but it gets done. I think you set the goal in mind, you get it done, you know. So, yeah.
Have you ever seen the Backyard Ultras?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah,
You looking at signing up for one?
Yeah, I am. I've never actually, like I said, because I suppose so naive with it all last year. Never really paid attention into ultras, running in general. Never looked at signing up. I know a lot more about it. Of course, I'd love to do more. Like, I want to do events and stuff. I'd love to do a backyard ultra. I got speaking to Kendall, you know, the guy who come joint first and the last man standing. He's from Costa Rica, but he did the last man standing. I think he did about 375 kilometers, was it? And they called the race off because neither of them would stop. Him and the German kid, I forgot his name, but those two were joint firsts, and they had to just call the run off in the backyard ultra because they wouldn't stop, and there was a storm coming, so they both come joint first. And I think, like, seeing stuff like that, I was like, I'd love to do a last man standing. I could absolutely love to, because like here, I just feel like I could just keep going.
There's one that's not far away from you.
Really?
Meston Lakes.
Is there? In Penarth?
Yeah.
Is there?
There's a guy who came on the podcast, actually, Paul Breen. He runs it. It's a company called Gertlush.
Oh, okay.
Medieval Backyard Ultra.
Right.
The wooden medal just above the camera there, that's from that.
Oh, right, okay.
So I did it last year.
It was last man standing?
Yeah, last man standing. It's an official qualifier for the one out in America as well, the main one.
Is it? The one in Texas?
The guy that runs it, Paul, he knows Lazarus Lake, the guy that came up with the idea.
Right, okay.
And runs the main one in America. So, like,
is the main one in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original one, yeah. So,
is it now sponsored by BPN?
No, I think that's a different one.
That's a different one, is it?
There's one, I think it's called Big Dogs Backyard Ultra.
Oh, okay.
That's like the proper one now.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, this guy Lazarus Lake, he comes up with, have you heard of the Barkley Marathons?
No.
You need to watch that if you want to get into like ultras. Like, that is the ultimate running documentary in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm biased because that's what got me into running ultras in the first place, but phenomenal documentary.
Yeah, okay, I'll give that a look.
Yeah.
What did you get in the backyard ultra?
So I managed 16 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it was the most I'd ever run. It still is the most I've ever run in one go. 66 miles. But I ended up having to stop because I got heat stroke. I'm susceptible to heat stroke.
Really?
I had got nerve damage on my head, so when it gets hot, I don't feel it. my body will react to it, but I won't feel it. So, like, you know, when you get a bit flush and you're like, I need to sit down, have a drink and cool off, I just don't feel that. So it gets to the point where my body will just be like, no, you're fucked. Like, and I'll just start throwing up and things like that. So I got to that point, and then I was like, yeah, no, like, I'm done.
Yeah, you're done. Impressive, 16 hours. I mean, like, who came first? Like, what was the time and distance?
So the winning time was from Sarah Perry, 35 hours. She went on to last year, or it might be, yeah, it was the end of last year. She went to the Big Dog Backyard Ultra, and she set the female world record for backyards.
Sick.
She was 1 lap off 400 miles.
What? On the Big Dog one?
Yeah.
Insane. That's mad.
Yeah, so she is absolutely phenomenal. I'm trying to get her on the podcast desperately, but she's like, thank you for the offer, but like, I've done so many podcasts now, like, I just can't do another one.
Where's she from?
Midlands.
Okay,
So,
cool.
but yeah, she's lovely about it.
Yeah.
Really nice person, and she's just like, you wouldn't expect it from her. Like, if you see her, she's just like, she's a teacher.
Yeah.
Just a normal person.
Yeah,
Just
that's
going
the
out
thing,
and-
isn't it? Like, it's just, everyone's just normal, you know? Like, when people talk about Russ Cook running across Africa, it's like, just a normal bloke, like everyone else, you know? Just with maybe more of a crazy mindset, but yeah, it's impressive. That's sick. That's so cool. With the last man standing, is it like rules involved? Like, they stopping every, like, is it on the hour, every hour?
So
like,
it's on the hour, every hour, 4.2 miles,
yeah,
roughly, and
it's usually the same with most, right? About 6k.
yeah, 6.7k.
You stop, fuel up again, and go again.
Stop, fuel up, go again. You've got to be in the starting pen on the countdown. If you're not in the starting pen, you can't leave. If you're not back in time, you can't go out on the next lap, like, you're disqualified. You can only keep going as long as there's someone with you. So with backyards, you can't just be like, well, I'm going to go on the next hour if you're the last person. It's like, when there's 2 of you left, one of you stops, you can do 1 more lap to secure the win, and then it's like, cool, that's the event done. Like, you just can't keep going. So if you want to break these world records, you have to be with someone else who's good enough to break the world record. So
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
you need good people around you to.
Yeah, like, if you do,
win.
is it every year?
Yeah, every year.
It's mad. I've never heard of it. But again, like, I'm still naive, I suppose. Like, I'm just started running last year, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely look into it more. I've got some plans for the next few months, but yeah, definitely. When is it?
I think it's in May, start of May.
Let's see. It's cool though.
But yeah. In fact, it is start of May, because I was looking at doing it, but it's a week before I'm doing my first 100 miler this year.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's a week before that. So I was like, I can't do both.
Yeah.
I got
pick one.
100 mile is my goal. I've done that one already. I got 16 laps. I'm not happy with 16 laps. Like, I was happy at the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting it down, but in my head now, I'm like, well, I want the elusive 24 hours because that's 100 miles. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to stop at 24. So I want to now see how far I can go. But I'm like, I've got other things.
Yeah,
first.
in the plans.
Like,
yeah.
I'll come back to it.
When she won that, what was the distance she covered for the?
So that would have been like 150 odd mile.
Okay. So someone was running with it at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last person, she looked like she was just getting started. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, the last person that was with her, like, pulled out. She did the 35th lap, and then it was like, cool, the event's done, and she was just like, all right.
Got it. Nice. Fair play to her. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is it men and women competing against each other?
Men and women, yeah. They've got 150 people running this year, which is massive for a backyard as well. Usually you're looking at like 50 to 100 people.
Yeah.
So 150 people. That's going to be a wild competition. Like, I'm gutted I can't join in, but
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It'll be good. So if you're about, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something to. I've got some plans, and they're starting, but July is a big one, and I don't think May is a good idea when I've got something quite big coming up in July. So, I like to maybe look into it for the year after. again, it's always that thing that we talked about, like having the next thing planned. So something to definitely think about. I think someone mentioned it to me because I remember when you said Cosmeston Lake that it rang a massive bell, and I was thinking someone's mentioned this to me like recently. That's mad. It's so close though, so close.
Yeah, it's right close to you. Because I've got a event that I'm hosting this year. It's a similar style, same course length, 6.7k on the hour every hour, but we've got a 12-hour time cap. So it's like we're stopping at 12 hours, and rather than it be last man standing, it's the fastest accumulated time over the 12 laps.
That's cool.
So it's not just like you can go slow and still win. It's like, no, you got to still
try and
go
run
for
fast.
it.
Like, got to go for it, yeah.
But you also have to pace yourself because you don't want to burn out before the 12th lap. And
Yeah.
then there's another rule that I've added in, which is like after 6 laps, the last person on each of those laps onwards is eliminated. So there's another factor that plays into it. And then it's also on the last lap, everyone can come back and join back in, and it's whoever does the fastest lap on that last lap also gets a prize.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there's 2 winners, like fastest accumulated across 12 laps and the fastest on the 12th lap.
Yeah.
So some people might be going for the overall win and like pace themselves throughout. Some people might go really slow without, just narrowly avoiding disqualification.
Yeah.
And then being
Still
like
saying they completely
gun
but
it
not,
for the last lap.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
That's a good way because,
format.
like I said, is that like with the speed stuff, like having people compete with speed, it's more interesting for sure. People are doing it faster. That's definitely. It's like you're combining both.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
It's
is that your event?
Yeah, my event.
Cool, man. That's
so I'm hosting that. That's going to be up the Rukos.
Okay, cool.
Just up in the valleys.
Yeah, nice.
A bit more.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 35 capped entries, so nice small event, but yeah, should be good.
You have 35 good athletes in there, that was interesting.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see.
You gonna get involved?
Or
you just...
No, I'm so one of my sponsored athletes, Courtney, she's race director, so she's going to be briefing everyone, doing all of that. I'm on massage duty, so I'm going to do finish line massage and things like that. So.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, got like a whole team involved in it, like photographer, videographer, everything, aid stations, everything's going to be marked out, proper event. So.
Yeah, fair play to you. Well done, that's cool. That's cool, man.
So if you're keen for that, that's later in the year.
Yeah,
so.
no, yeah, definitely. I'll have more like be way more free at the end of the year, so
yeah,
it'll be exciting to do more stuff for sure.
Yeah. What's next for you?
I think it's best at the moment. I'm gonna keep it to myself, but I'm gonna be announcing it very soon.
Exciting.
Which is exciting, yeah. It's gonna be something that myself and Paul, my coach, are gonna be doing together.
Okay.
And it's going to involve a world record attempt, which is also cool and
very
exciting.
Intrigued.
Yeah, but it will all be announced very soon, and I think it's best to keep it hush. But it's, I mean, very soon. And we're talking like a few weeks. I'm thinking 3 weeks to get the ball rolling, and we're meeting up with my videographer, my friend Cole, and she's going to help us announce it and get it online, and then like I said, holding accountable then, as well. It's like that announcement's like, okay, time to lock in. That's something we're going for in the summer. But yeah,
by the time this podcast is out, that announcement might be out already.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it is, where can people go to find it? Because they'll be listening being like, well, what's the announcement?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube, and it'll be in my name, Ben Wiley, but it's 3 Ys. And be on my Instagram, which is the exact same. Likewise with Paul's, he's got a institution called Movements Academy, and he'll be announcing it on there. So yeah, it's exciting. We're excited to announce it. I spoke to him earlier, but yeah, we're gonna keep it hush for now and do it online, which is cool.
I can't wait to hear about it. World record attempt.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think like, why not? And again, it both aligns with us. Like, we're both the ones who got the tattoo because it's there on us, and I think that it's just that like, it's a sense of adventure and pushing ourselves. It's just like, what's something cool we can do, and like, this is cool, and it's like, why not? like what is actually like stopping us apart from ourselves? And I think that is the truth, right? It's like if we're gonna go for it, like let's put the work in now. We got a few months and work hard, and it's gonna be brutal, and it's again accepting the fact that it's gonna be awful. Like it isn't just gonna be, oh, this is great fun. Like it's gonna be hell, but yeah, it'll get done. It's again like proving that A to B, and then having your reasons why you want to do it. And again, I'll be raising money for the Jacob Abraham Foundation, the charity that I did the 24-hour run for. Now it's a local charity in Cardiff, around mental health, preventing suicide. It's run by a lovely woman called Nicola Abraham, and she runs a charity in aid of her son who took his own life. And yeah, she's amazing, and the family amazing, and what she's doing, she's MBE. Yeah, she's the best, and I'd love to just do more with them. Spread the word, really. I like it's advocating for mental health, and it's not something that we should just stop talking about. And I felt like with my 24-hour run was massive movement in that, in terms of like behind the scenes. Like I had a lot of people message me and just say like thank you, and like it was overwhelming, really. I mean, I feel like having people tell me like that it helps them, like having someone come out and talk about it. I'm not even talking about the run, I'm just talking about me talking about it, like beforehand, me putting up a post saying like I never imagined I'd ever put it online, ever. Actually, I hate social media, and like I said that in it, like hate social media, hate running, but I said like I don't like social media. I've always used it as a place. I think like when you're young, you get caught up in like I'm gonna post this and post that, and what's it gonna look like, and do it with business side of things or whatever it is you're doing. But I think like when I came traveling, it was like I'm really into photography, and I would like to post like the stuff I'm getting up to on there. And that's where I had like this little travel page that I kept for family and friends, and it was locked and private, and I'd write what I was doing, like an online journal.
Yeah.
When I was posting photos and stuff. And that was when I put up a post about like my mental health, and I wasn't feeling okay, because I had a lot of people like, what are you up to? You haven't posted in ages. And it was like, this is the reason why. And instead of posting up a load of things about me feeling great and happy and I'm having the best time in New Zealand and this is what I'm up to, and all the people who were saying you're living the dream, it was kind of like I just want to be more relatable and honest. And I felt like I'd never done it, and I was like, why don't I? I was like, what's the reason behind me not telling people the truth?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared how people are gonna see how I actually feel. Like I don't care. Like genuinely do not care. Like, I couldn't give two shits if they see that I was struggling, because I thought way more beneficial if I can just help even just one person. If I can speak and be more relatable and just say like I'm struggling, then and it helps someone, and it did. And like for me, that was just a relief, and I got out of it what I wanted. It was helping other people, and I think I've always trying to really do that, I suppose, in many different ways. Like I've always loved that sense. I love talking to my mates about like stuff, and if they come with me with an issue or something they're struggling with, I'm always going to be there, and I enjoy that responsibility in a way. And yeah, I think again it's that pushing for movement. I want people to talk about it, especially boys, men, and because we don't, and like it's kind of sad. And again, it's like the acceptance of like it's okay to cry and be down and not like feel like you're doing good or having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, whatever it is. It won't last, and it's absolutely fine. It's just spreading that like it's gonna happen. It happens to all of us, but like let's talk about it and not like bottle this up, or like it's always someone to talk to, but you have to check in on your mates as well and speak to them, because you never know what someone's going through. And again, these sort of things, it's just raising awareness, and it's just helping, I think. And if it can, and why won't I do more of it, And I think that's something I sat on for a while. And when I rewatched the video recently, as it obviously came out, and I seen like the community base of it, and you'll see when you watch it, and it's really nice, and like people being more open and talking about it. I think like it was just like, what's your reason behind it? And it was like, that was my reason, because that was my reason in the first place. That's why I turned to it, because I was struggling. And I said it wasn't something I enjoyed, but it helped me in a time and a place where I was struggling. So it was like, if I can show that to other people and be like, okay, I'm not saying go out and run an ultra marathon. That's not going to fix you. But like, it's that whole point of like, when I was in a bad place, it was one step at a time. And then I linked that in with the running, one step at a time. And then I started doing really cool stuff with that. I started like pushing myself, setting goals. And I think I think they tie in massively. Like running and mental health, I think they tie in massively. So if you can do things that are cool and raise money and awareness, then it's a bonus really to me in my eyes. So I want to keep doing that, definitely. And see where it goes and have a bit of fun along the way and a bit of hell, I suppose.
Nice.
Yeah.
Taking it full circle then, going back to that moment before your call to adventure, that person, if you could go back and give them one piece of advice, one thing that you've learnt across this whole journey that you've been on, what would that piece of advice be?
That's a really good question. Well, one thing I've learned, I'd probably answer it by saying that, like, you're not meant to have it all figured out. And I felt like when I started, I really felt like, and I mean started running, and because I was feeling so down, I felt I was in a place of like, I need to have it all figured out, and I kept chasing that on my run, and like when I was running, I was like, I need to keep I was always trying to figure stuff out, whether it's like work, relationships, like just daily life, like, you know, like things that you plan, whatever it is you're doing. It was like, no one has it all figured out, and if they tell you otherwise, they're lying. Like, no one does. And again, that narrative of not being perfect, like I was always trying to have things in place to make things. It's just like, it's okay to have things to be messy. Things go wrong. No one's like, we all make mistakes. And I think I learned that just, like I said, having that acceptance of being like, yeah, like this is just who I am, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and I'm gonna continue to make them. Things are gonna continue to go wrong, but it's about like trying cool things. And yeah, it's hard to really put into words. Like, I learned so much about myself in the process, especially when completing it and afterwards. But it's like, we go back to that feeling of like, again, I need it all figured out, and like you're just never gonna have it all figured out. It's like, take a step back and smell the roses, look at what you've done, and then on to the next. And it's just a cool experience to, like, I've been realising that opening up and talking about mental health helps other people, and in that process then I've realised how much I actually enjoy helping other people. Like, I get a real kick out of it, you know. And I think like that's always been a part of me anyway, like just human connection. I think we all crave connection, you know, and I think human connection is the best way. Like, it's your friend, the relationship, your family, whatever it is. I think we crave that, and then once we get that, we cherish it, and you get it through these sort of things. And like you said, the people you meet along the way, and the activities, stuff, the mates you make, it's all just connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, connection based, and it makes us feel more fulfilled. So it's finding that. But I think just helping other people and speaking, like, I get a real kick out of it, and I think like more people would if they just did more and like spoke to people. Like you said, just why are we so scared these days to talk to people? You know, go out there and just speak to randomers. Like, why don't we do it more? You know, in a way. Because
I think it's great when you open up, especially publicly.
Yeah.
Like you said, that sort of opens the door for other people to be like, it almost gives them a safe space to reach out to you.
Yeah, definitely. And I did, and I had people I hadn't spoken to in years. People I haven't spoken to before, like, message me. And that was really nice, obviously. And again, like, some people are like, oh, you're superhuman, you're doing this. It's like, I appreciate you saying it, because it's a nice thing to say, but it's really not the case. We're all the same. And not to be like cliche, but we really are. Like, we're all the same. And yeah, it's that keeping that safe space. And I had a mate who said to me, like, mate, I would never expect like you to have ever felt like that, like from the outside looking in. And that's what it was. And I was like, yeah, but that's the problem. It's like, outside looking in, everything might seem great, and outside looking in on social media, everything looks great in other people's lives, but it's not. Like, people are still figuring out, and I think learning that is important for all of us. Like, and I think we said, social media creates so many good opportunities in this aspect of like online connections, and how I can go traveling and still talk to people online that I met a year ago. Like I can still do that by social media, you know. And like without that, like back in the day, there was no hope. You meet people, say bye, and then that's it. Now you can have friendships forever because of social media, or you know, keeping a number, having a phone. But like, it's such a bad thing in life at the same time, because it's weird. It's so many aspects, because we're as humans, we compare, and when you compare, you just, you know, they say comparison's the thief of joy, and it really is, because if you're just constantly comparing to other people, like, you're never going to be happy or satisfied with what you got. It's like, I can sit here now and you can be like, I did a 24-hour run and I did 140 kilometers, and I'll be like, yeah, but I ran 200, and you're like, it's like, it doesn't take anything from you. Or like, I can sit here now and sit the guy who's just done a 300-kilometer run. It's like, and I go, yeah. It's like, it can be really minor to something really big. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. If we compare, we're never going to feel satisfied. So sometimes it's like learning that, like, you know, gratification, I suppose, comes from looking at your own, like look at where you were. You said you were homeless, and now look at what you're doing, and what you're doing for other people, which is again more important. And I think you said about human connection, like, when you're helping other people and you're inspiring people, right? And so you're doing things for other people that are like creating them goals. Like, that's something you can sit back on and go, that's cool. Like, take everything else aside, that person's doing this and doing that, and like, that's cool, because like, they're doing that with me along the way, you know. And I didn't know this person, but now this person was running half marathons, and now this person's doing crazy ultras. That's cool. It's like, you know. And yeah. I think like, yeah, I think those human connections are important, definitely. And like I said, I think everyone should be a bit more kind to each other, you know. But yeah, that's what I would say about that, to be fair.
Amazing. I'll wrap it up there.
Cool.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's the first time I've ever been on one, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. So thank you.
Good. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Adventure Athletes podcast. If you want to find out more about what we do at Adventure Athletes, head over to adventureathletes.co.uk and you can sign up to all of our events. You can sign up for coaching both in person and online. You can sign up for sports massage. You can sign up for outdoor activity days like the National Three Peaks and get guided by one of our expert guides. So just head over to adventureathletes.co.uk and don't forget to help us spread the word of the podcast. Give it a like, give us a follow, give it a share it with your friends, your family, your mum, your dad, your cat, your nan, everyone you can imagine, because the more views and the further we spread this podcast, the more I can keep this going. There's been a few times in the past 3 years where I've been so close to giving up, and it's all been made possible by you guys and your guest recommendations and giving us listens, giving us support, so we can keep going. The more we can spread this, the bigger and better the podcast can get. Until next time, guys.